Hello there. What's the date? It is November 30th, which means I am one day ahead of schedule for the monthly retros. I think that is the first time that has ever happened. Usually I make a commitment to do it on the first day of every month. But today was a Sunday and it's going to be a crazy week. So I just wanted to get this done ahead of time. Yeah, so if you guys are new to the series, this is my monthly practice of recording what I call my monthly retros. So I dive in and talk about everything from a business standpoint, profit, loss, lead gen, wins and losses from a life and business standpoint, and how we are acting on those wins and losses to make changes for the upcoming month. I highly recommend you guys have some kind of financial slash theoretical or philosophical practice like this in your business. This has been one of the most helpful things that I have done. So if you guys are new to the series, I encourage you to follow along. Feel free to binge the low production value, poorly edited past videos of these where I started the business in February 1st of 2024, documenting my journey along the way. But this is November of 2025, and I'm going to dive in and we're going to talk all about the wins, losses, profit, loss for this month. Without further ado, let's dive on in. Okay, so the first place we always start here, if you guys are new, right here in Notion on our monthly dashboard right here, you can see everything since February 1st of 24, monthly business revenue, business expenses, diving on in. So let's get into the stats, top line, and I'll be jumping through other softwares here as well to share with you guys some more data, but let's hide all the stuff here on the right and the left because dashboards just want to continue to take my screen real estate. So business revenue, $21,504. Business expenses, $2,819. $0 of personal income and $3,585 of personal expenses. And that was due to two very big insurance expenses because car insurance is expensive. And I'm laughing about it, but I'm actually really pissed. So anyway, it's about 15,000 in savings, and we'll get into the exact calculations in Monarch to talk about all the diagrams. But I started doing some more. If you guys are new to the series, the softwares that we use Moxie for client management and a lightweight CRM. We use Monarch Money as kind of a top level financial dashboard to be able to segment business revenue, business expenses, personal revenue, personal expenses, and also categorize them and add tags. I absolutely love Monarch Money, so I highly recommend you check them out. And we also store everything here in Notion, and we also use a couple other softwares to manage our other KPIs that we're talking about here. So LinkedIn followers, we're tracking 5,735, which is not great. Last month, we look at month-over-month growth here. That would attribute to a month-over-month growth of under 200. Our mailing list size grew by 5, so again, not a great month there. But yeah, so not much to report there, nothing exciting. Honestly, pretty unexciting from that standpoint. 0 outbound proposals, and yeah, so that's everything I'm looking at from a financial standpoint. Here are all the screenshots. I know it may seem redundant to go in and add screenshots, but that's just for accountability to go in and look at the Monarch Money dashboard for me, where I go in and put in everything from last month so I can review it. And this is this month's. So we have 10,000 and ARR, so accounts receivable. So profit could have been a lot, revenue could have been a lot higher this month, but 2 clients are behind and 2 projects got backstalled, which we will talk about. Business expenses, like I said, 2,800. Screenshots there. Here's the wins and losses and monthly review. Before I do, I want to go into Monarch Money to sort of talk about some of the things that I'm looking at when it comes to business finances, and I highly encourage you guys to look at too. This right here, this is called a Sankey diagram. I didn't find out until very recently that Monarch Money did something like this, but the amount of insights and clarity that this brought to me just absolutely changed. So if you go into your Monarch Money account, I have all of my accounts segmented by personal checkings, personal savings, personal money market. So that's where I try and keep most of my stuff. And then also business checkings, money market. I also have a Mercury checking account just for, transactions and stuff like that, which I don't I don't personally recommend having. I don't know why I have it. But so we have everything in those accounts right there. And yeah, so that's where everything is stored transaction wise. And then when you go into cash flow, you can generate these reports. So when I talk about Sankey diagram, basically it is you have everything that comes in on the left and you have your distribution of expenses that go out on the right. So you can see everything. You can see we have about 15,000 in total savings. A lot of that's going to go to taxes, which is something that we'll talk about here soon as well. Insurance expenses. This is for 2 months. 2 months of car insurance right here. I forever regret some of my high school actions when it comes to the stuff behind the wheel, but that's neither here nor there. But that's where it was our biggest expense of the last month was that 2 of those transactions came out. Contractor labor, in November, we spent $1,787, so a very high month. That might be the highest ever of contractor labor. Business software and tools, $850, which one of them came from an online purchase of $600. So that kind of skews that number a bit. And the software that we did buy was a tool called ConvertBox. This is something I want to talk about because if you guys have never heard of ConvertBox, let me just playfully enlighten you here. ConvertBox is basically a pop-up / exit intent pop-up builder software, and I love it. But if you guys check out their landing page, something is wrong. Shout out to Bailey Canning, who got this on my radar. I linked to his channel below. But this is like the weirdest software ever because if you go to their landing page, it looks like a total scam. It looks like apparently it's been displayed on their homepage for years that their plans are ending soon, that pricing is going to go up, and that the software is pretty well known that is not very internally well maintained. But anyway, it was just so elegant, easy to build. I saw my friend Jay Klaus had one of these on his homepage, creatorscience.com, if you guys go and look up that website. And it's just a buttery smooth exit intent pop-up builder. We installed one of these for our clients, Alt Social, 228 email signups, 228 leads added to their MailChimp mailing list from one pop-up just in the last 30 days. So if we go to all time, it's still the same because we only started this month, but 228 leads. That's over a 5% conversion rate. I have one on my website too. And it's gotten 10 leads, but it's basically just for our swipe file that I've been putting out. That is basically just it's like a lead magnet. So if you exit intent on my website, it's the swipe file and Notion for the landing pages, for the landing page swipe file that I have. And if you put in your name and email, you get redirected to this Notion swipe file. This actually took a long time to build, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'll probably continue to shift it towards a healthcare niche scheme, which is something else that we'll talk about. But it basically has screenshots of like some of my favorite landing pages on the web, segmented by color, by industries, by call to action. It's really nice and filterable. And it has a nice little walkthrough here on the homepage as well that I recorded a long time ago. But this is cool, and I'm probably going to start to link to this more as CTAs on YouTube videos and things like that, because it's a really good resource, and it's a good audience builder. So I want to get more traffic to that. But as a whole, website traffic isn't something that I'm really tracking or is even a KPI of mine. So not much to discuss there. And also, I set a cookie on it so that it'll only display on new visitors. That's why I opened an incognito tab. But anyway, that is kind of a tangent that applies to the software tools expense. A nice little bulk sum there. $183 on groceries, $500 on investment. That's just towards a Roth IRA. Monthly advertising and promotion. So that's LinkedIn plus another software tool, business travel and meals. $61, and I can tell you all of that is from the public commuting in New York, which is an absolute pain in the ass. Business supplies and expenses, $50. Personal, that's a haircut for $20, and financial fees, $49. That's from Remitly, which is our payment processor for our contractors. Next thing we're going to jam on here is our cash flow analysis. This is basically where I go in and manually input every client transaction, and I had to pause the video because knock on wood, I will always forget to hide the client names here on the left. But this is at the top right here is our recurring expenses, and everything below this line right is our recurring revenue, I should say, from clients, and everything below this line right here is project revenue. So like I said, 2 projects got pushed back and 1 did not pay. So in project revenue this month we had, or everything below this line. Sorry, I did the same thing last month. So in project revenue we had 6,500, and then in recurring revenue we had 15,000. So that works out to the total, as you guys see here populated at the top, 21,518 revenue. And the discrepancies between Google Sheets, because this is manually input and Monarch Money, are a little bit different, so that's why they register slightly off on those, but it's directionally correct. That's really all I'm tracking. I said 850 in recurring expenses. From contractor labor, we had a total of right here $1,000, and that's a little bit. This is just from the hourly work. We had more than that. That was covered in the total project costs, so you'll see that reflected in Monarch Money as well. So 17 between 1,000 and 1,500 in contract labor for this month, which again more than I want to be paying, but it's a good thing that we're getting work off our plate and we're still profitable. If we go into Monarch Money here too, we can see our profitability rate, which is far and away the thing that I'm monitoring. And this also keeps into account personal expenses and business expenses, so it's kind of dipping from both. But we're still 70% profitable. Last month we were, I think, 84% profitability. So one of my goals was to not decrease that, but to outsource more and to get more work done. And we did accomplish that. So that is something that I'm proud of. I want to go on to just the general reflections now, the wins and losses after we've covered everything financially. So some of the wins from this month, we had a strong call earlier in the month with Jason Vanderveer from Bull Crazy. Just this one stood out because it's a really good founder chat. You know, we connected on kind of an emotional level. We talked about some of the head trash that I have in my business. He talked about, you know, some of the struggles he had growing up being a founder on his own right. And he's someone that's 1 or 2 steps ahead of me from an entrepreneurial standpoint. He's late 20s, a little bit older than I am, so it was really good to connect with him. We did a really good job of something that I'm really bullish on just from a business standpoint is that we're building really good relationships with clients. It's hard to kind of, and when I see this as well, going well, revenue always tends to correlate, and it's kind of a lagging indicator on that front. So what I'm trying to optimize more for is relationships with clients, and then not detach so much from the revenue figures and just trust that that'll happen on the back end. But my biggest thing that I'm keeping mindset on is being friends with our clients, showing up for them, going first and being proactive, reaching out to them. Yeah, that's what, when relationships with clients are going well and everyone's happy, then just life is better. Connected with Mickey Mellon from Green Mellon, which is an agency in Atlanta for future WordPress opportunities. We could be their Webflow resource moving forward, so that's a really good lead. And he's also just a cool dude to talk to, so I'm happy about that. Let's take a quick sip of water. I connected with Claude Ball, who is a UI UX designer in Atlanta again. Whoa. And that was a really good conversation. We talked for about an hour. Talking about design, he's probably going to go into Webflow for building his own sort of business. And I kind of talked to him, mentored him a little bit through that, answered some questions just on Webflow and business development in and of itself. We launched the Stratford Sign Company's website. I verbally dictated these, so some of the typography, some of the misspellings are there. But we launched the Stratford Sign Company website. Great launch. And we'll talk a little bit about it. Strat Sign Company. That's not what I'm looking for. Stratford Sign Co. Yeah, we can see all their stuff is starting to index really well. Look at that. Schema markup, baby, doing your thing. Oh yeah. So by the way, if you guys don't know what schema markup is, I got a whole lesson in that from this recent project. Schema markup is basically a JSON file that you put into the script of every single page This was a task because the site is over 60 pages. Um, but it's apparently working really well just based on that search query that we got from Perplexity. But we launched this website this month. They have agreed to an ongoing retainer, which I haven't added to the spreadsheet yet, but they were absolutely thrilled with the website launch. And I mean, why wouldn't they be? Look at it. It's beautiful. We have a nice little high converting, get a free quote box. I have a full case study on this project, link to the channel, so I'll link to it in the card. I always forget which corner, but I'll link to that in the card, so you guys can go check that out. Really high converting, really good jumbo nav design, really good display of their imagery and projects, sends up for testimonials, clear CTAs, just the whole like. I am stoked with this project. I think we knocked it out of the park. Developers did a good job on it. I did about 80% of the work between design and development, and then handed it off for the interactions and some of the other small stuff. But this is a really good portfolio piece, and I'm absolutely stoked with how it turned out. We're also getting a good amount of form submissions to the website, so I'm happy to see that. And yeah, just really good. They appreciated the work. They loved everything that we did, and they could be good clients moving forward on a retainer basis. So absolutely stoked. Like I said, a lot of good imagery. It's always rewarding to kind of look through the site after the fact and see some cool stuff. So that is a win for this month. Moving on to the others. Connected with Morgan at Cohatch, solidified that sponsorship relationship for the podcast. We have 2 recordings coming up with Casey and Josh on the 3rd and 4th of next month. And we actually recorded a quick little intro for the podcast. So if I can think quickly enough to pull that up, the studio just looks so good. So I'm really stoked to continue recording there, but we got to record an ad read inside of the studio or an intro for the podcast that'll go inside the studio.
Welcome
and I don't
to
know if you guys will be able to hear this
by Design, where you and I learn from our favorite founders and marketers.
But yeah, I'm super stoked at how this turned out, and I'm really excited for future recordings. And we'll be there in just a couple days to record the first actual in-person episode there. So yeah, but you can see how crispy everything looks. I'm super stoked to do that, and we've managed that sponsor relationship really well. 2 episodes there next month, like I talked about. We traveled to New York City for the Evolve Digital Summit. Was it worth it? This is to be determined. To be honest with you guys, sometimes conferences are a bit of a black box when it comes to knowing whether or not the ROI will be there. This one was a bit of a crapshoot because it turned out a lot of these speakers and panelists were actually clients of the agency that put it on. I'm wearing their shirt right now, Evolve Digital, or Evolving Web, the company's name. So it was kind of just a long advertisement for each of their clients. And yeah, I don't know if I would go again, but the experience of it was good because I had never been to a big city. So taking that, not being too hard on myself for not getting the most out of it. But it was a stressful week in terms of travel. Got way off track with food and exercise and everything. And it was just a stressful week. But it was really good to see and meet Chris and Vincent and a couple other good connections. I made a LinkedIn post about it. But if I can find a couple pictures here of New York. Yeah, it was a good trip, and we met some interesting people. It's just sometimes you have to look out for what it can mean from a productivity standpoint and have really manage your expectations on just getting anything done, because you probably aren't. But I justified it to myself because meeting just with Vincent was worth it. And that was a really good connection there. I don't have pictures pulled up right now. He's going to be a long-term client. We did our final check-in call with one of our clients, Darwin Research Group, to launch their site. We just did a 500-page website migration. Here's their Webflow staging site. But how it's going to look is they want to be kind of a thought leadership hub for healthcare. This is going to launch on Monday, so tomorrow. So we have everything. We have the 301 redirect list, everything. We have all the APIs hooked up to their email list and everything. But this is going to be launched in a matter of hours. We had our final check-in call with them this week, and they absolutely loved it. I'll definitely be doing a full case study on this, but this was a huge Webflow migration of all their existing newsletters, content pieces, and it just went awesome. But there will be a couple gripes that I have on the Webflow CSV import for the CMS items because it did not work well and it ended up being a lot of manual work. But for this one, I'm super stoked and excited to share one of the best websites in healthcare medical research, I think, that's on the web. So this is going to be a really good portfolio piece, and it'll link very well into our content direction and just the direction of how we're marketing our company headed into next year with a more niche focus. Darwin migration is going smoothly. Amazing close connection with Vincent Grippy. He's going to be a really good referral partner and also just relationship that we have in our business. And he is the man. He took me out on the town, as they say, and just gave me the full New York experience. And I absolutely had such a great time. Some of the pictures I have them pulled up now. This is me seeing Times Square. This is me seeing Times Square for the first time. There's Chris in the background right there. That's kind of a cool image. I met David from Barrel Holdings. It's a really good connection at the conference, and there's Chris again. Dude is such a caricature. Yeah, that went really well, and another couple cool photos. Yeah, all in all, just a really cool conference. That's Vincent right there. That's the guy I was referring to. He has an awesome agency called Grippy Media. But yeah, just like I said, a stressful trip all around, but stress is good. Discomfort is good. So, on to the losses. We are behind on podcast content production per usual. We actually did a better job of uploading. So, we uploaded 2 last week, which is good because I'm meeting my cadence of hitting 2 per week, which I'm happy about. But if we go to our channel here, we posted one with Chris Norton from Prohibition PR and Chris Silvestri over at Conversion Optimy. Really good one there. This one hasn't taken off yet. But we're also uploading a healthcare web design video, kind of our first planting our flag in the ground on those fronts. And as of right now, it is Sunday, the 30th, and I don't have my podcast episode edited for this week, so I'm about to head over to Cohatch this afternoon and knock that out this evening, get some steps in, head straight over there. But podcast content production is running a little bit behind. I missed an AMA board meeting and I've been slow to respond to the group, so accountability on me on that front. I'm not acting as decisively on big picture business items, so the niching thing, only taking on projects above a certain revenue level, and just not staying consistent on what I had committed to myself. Why am I not doing that? I don't know. Travel inefficiencies and high expenses. I spent about $600 in a span of 2 days, which, if you guys know my traditional Midwestern conservative background, it's a bit of a bit of a personality shock to me. So I'm still recovering from that. Inconsistent LinkedIn posting and networking. I kind of recovered a little bit. I spent about an hour this morning sending proactive outreach messages and making connections. But I got a lot of that done today. But just like all last week, I only posted twice. And I had, up to this point for the last several years, been very consistent of posting every single weekday. And I haven't allocated time. And right now, like it's Sunday, I don't have my content ready for this week. So we're going to have to compromise on that standpoint. But again, being forgiving of myself, not going too hard on myself is important here. And knowing that some things are going to fall in the meantime. So action items and goals. We review last month from a business and life standpoint. Josh is someone who commented on the last video asking for a template of these. I do have that. So if you want a template of this monthly retro, let me know and I can share that with you guys, send you the link and you can duplicate it into your own Notion workspace. I'm happy to do that. So last month, these were our goals from a business and life standpoint. We launched Darwin. We did not launch technologies. And we did not launch Darwin. That's happening on Monday. So it's going to be one day late. So whatever. We are going to launch Stratford, and we did not launch Technologies. They are waiting for the end of the annual enrollment period, which is AEP, so that takes place December 7th. And they're waiting on a case study from Exact Medicare, so that didn't get launched. So not really my fault on that front. Dedicated marketing time I did do this morning. Record one video, healthcare design. If you guys go and check out the channel, I did get this edited and uploaded last night. This is kind of my first little, like I said, planting my flag in the ground of the re-niching and only taking on healthcare projects from now on. So hopefully that video goes off well. Just 3 healthcare web design trends. I literally recorded this last night, and I think the video is going to do very well. So I'm excited to see how it performs. I'm also going to be repurposing for some LinkedIn content as well. But back onto the other outline and productized niching scheme. I haven't done that 100%, but I am dabbling. So we didn't hit all of our goals from a business standpoint. From a life standpoint, events, we had Jay's mastermind dinner in Columbus. That was a big win. I connected with Coach Carson from, if I go to the newsletter, Chad Carson has a YouTube channel all about real estate. I had literally been watching his live streams like 2 days before I walked in and I met him in person. He's from North Carolina. But I just walked into that restaurant and I saw him there. I was like, Coach. That was funny. But yeah, that was a really big win this month, was getting to go to a mastermind group like that. And he honestly, he kind of cooked me on my YouTube channel and lack of strategy, which I took note of, because look, we're making changes. We're only interviewing people for the podcast that are in our niche, and we are also only making content in a more strict vertical moving forward. So the mastermind dinner in Columbus was done, and it was a win. Evolve Digital in Manhattan, we did go there. We made travel arrangements, and we did not finish the book that we're reading. So on to this month, I just filled all of this out. Our goals and life action items. How are we acting on everything we just talked about? What are our inputs, and what are the changes that we're making? So we're going to launch Darwin Research Group and close their ongoing retainer. That is taking place tomorrow. Next week, December 7th, we are launching all Exact Medicare projects. So these are the projects that we're working on very heavily now. This is Exact Benefits, which is their B2B side. I'm almost finished with this landing page for them. We're going to get this posted out. I'm super stoked with this. And we're also going to be launching Exact Medicare, which is their site redesign, redevelopment, and basically a whole redo from a brand standpoint. This is going to be big for for their company. And this over delivering and knocking these 2 out of the park is going to be big for our company moving forward, not just for portfolio pieces, but also for just maintaining our relationship with these people, because I've gone up and above, out of scope, and really offered some really creative solutions for them. And I think they're going to love everything that we put together for them. So these couple projects that are launching this month are going to be big for the company, and they're going to inform a lot of the projects that we're going to be getting headed into 2026. So the end of this year is big for us, very big. But if I just look at some of these pages, dude, you guys ain't ready for this website. Like, this is some of our best work yet. I'm very, very proud of this. So yeah, their services pages are crushing it. Different little niche service pages and landing pages for all of their Medicare services. Have a nice, cool about page, board of directors, corporate leadership team. Absolutely stoked to release this one. So closing out our wins and losses and goals for next month. One dedicated weekly content piece. So similar to what I showed with you guys in the YouTube video, we're going to be recording one of those per week. So again, planting our flag in that niche, reaching out to at least one new healthcare contact daily, start to aggregate a list. Columbus is a great region for healthcare, and I'm excited to connect with some more people in this area and in this niche. And we're going to begin structure for changing our messaging. So we're going to start writing every day just to kind of refine what that value prop is. We can get that on the new copy for the website. And we're going to be more aggressive with asks. I know when I start to get complacent, I don't put myself out of my comfort zone enough, and I don't get as bold enough from a sales standpoint, especially when I'm meeting a lot of new people. And I just don't make the bold and direct approach like, hey, how can I help you? How can I serve you? So I need to be getting out of my comfort zone from that standpoint. On the life standpoint, we have 5 goals that we're going to be dozing on. Finishing 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. I'm about halfway done. So finishing that. We're going to constrain our eating to within an 8-hour a day window. Right now, we're just kind of out of control and lacking discipline on that front. We continue to hit the gym every day. I did go to the gym twice every day for this entire month. So keeping that consistency train going, I find that when that habit is consistent, everything else kind of falls into place more or less. We're going to restore consistency with self-care and healthier routines, going to bed earlier, waking up earlier. I kind of, for lack of a better term, become a degenerate in this standpoint. And the last one is Christmas shopping. And I added a little yikes right there because we are behind on that. So that's something I have to get on, not just for the family, but also for business partners, referral partners. Now that I have friends, I did not have as many friends this point last year. So that's the negative that comes with the positive. So that is the monthly retro for November of 2025. Thank you guys for listening to that long and probably obnoxious ramble. And if you've been here since the beginning, watching all these monthly retros, you're a real one, and I appreciate you. But on to next month, let's close out the year strong. Drop me a comment if you guys enjoyed this. I want to follow along with what you guys are building too. And let's keep going. Let's finish the year strong. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.